Hi everybody, welcome to School of Scarlett. Today I have another intuitive message for you. So today I saw a pretty neat creature 3 times today, and I want to go ahead and share that here with you today. I also got an intuitive message that came through a song, and I also want to share with you how I've learned to move differently in this world, and it essentially helps you to quantum jump in a way that others just can't believe. So I'm going to share that here with you today, so stay tuned for today's message. If you are new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. I want to welcome you to subscribe. If you are new, I put out daily intuitive messages based on things that happen in my daily life. So let's jump right into it. So I was driving around, and as I'm driving, I'm listening to my playlist and, just kind of taking it all in. And the first creature I saw, I was I was driving across the railroad tracks, and there was a huge box turtle, because I got pretty close to it. Sometimes they're like water turtles, and this was a big box turtle about this big, and I love box turtles. I had box turtles growing up, and so I stopped a little bit to look at it, and so I saw a box turtle. And then later on, I was driving in an area that was a little bit kind of swampy, and I saw another turtle. And then on my way home from where I was at, I saw another turtle really close to where I live. So I saw a turtle 3 times today, so that might be significant to someone. I just wanted to share that here with you today. And they're pretty big turtles, so I don't know if that matters, but they were pretty big turtles, and I thought that was neat, and I love sharing with you when I see different creatures and animals and stuff like that. I've also been seeing a lot of squirrels, but anyhow, as I was driving in, around town and doing the different things I was doing today, I was listening to my playlist, and one of my, I don't even know which song it is, but it's one of Jelly Roll's songs. It's probably one of his older songs, and I really like his music. On one of the songs, it has a lyric in there that says, while they've been playing checkers, we've been making chess moves. And as I heard that, I got kind of today's message that came through, and it really was a little bit different than the lyrics, but it's about moving in silence. And it really, triggered that, we're being called to move in silence. And to move differently. And so I've learned to move differently in my own life for various reasons. And so this is a call to you, if you are struggling with anything like this, to move differently. This will help you to kind of get rid of anything that is coming in your way, whether that's doubt, whether that's naysayers, whether that's any kind of energy leakage. This is going to help you to put that aside and move differently in a way where you essentially work on whatever you're working on, and in the next moment you've quantum leaped into the next timeline. So whenever anyone else has any ability to know what you're doing, you will have already won. You would have already attained the thing that they may have critiqued back when you were going to share it with them. So I don't know that lyric really means that, but what I perceive with that when I heard it was move in silence. So that was the words that was coming through. That's what I was sensing to share with you, that we must move in silence. So when I also tuned into that lyric, when I realized, it doesn't really seem like moving in silence goes with the lyric, while they've been playing checkers, we've been making chess moves. I tuned into it a little bit deeper, and I got a little bit deeper message from it. So checkers is kind of a quicker game. It doesn't require a lot of strategy, really. It doesn't require a lot of going deeper. It's more on the surface, right? And so it's moving in a faster pace, checkers, and it's not having to really think too much or strategize very much, right? Whereas chess, you have to strategize a little bit more. And I actually I've played checkers many times. I've played chess maybe like 2 times. So I don't exactly know all of the ins and outs right now of chess, but I know that there is that difference. So when I tuned into it further, that's what I felt, is that when everyone else is playing checkers, meaning like people in the world right now, they're moving very fast. They're moving on the surface. They're, very surface level, and they're moving quickly with whatever is, whatever they're reacting to, whatever's happening in the world. Whereas you are moving deeper. You're moving within your own self. You're going within, and you're moving in a deeper, more strategic way that requires a little bit more knowing from your inner self. Okay, so that's what I was tuning into, is that you're moving in a different way. So one of the things that I learned about moving in my life is that it's important to move in silence. And what does that mean? Moving in silence is really not asking for permission to do whatever it is that you want to do. It's just going ahead and doing it. It's not announcing it. So it's not telling everyone, hey, I'm going to start this new thing. I don't know if you've ever had this situation, I'm sure you have, where you've let people know of either your dream, your new business idea. Maybe it's a move you're making, like maybe you're planning to leave your job, or maybe you're planning to leave a relationship or enter a relationship. But what you'll notice is that when you share this sort of thing with friends, family, I mean, we usually share it with our friends, right? And then maybe family. And sometimes it could be coworkers, it could be anybody. But when we share these sorts of things with people, what we notice is that we get a lot of feedback, right? We get feedback from them, and most of the times it's their opinions about it. It's their, whether or not it's going to be successful. Yeah, it's going to be successful. No, it's not going to be successful. Then you get their plans of how they would do it. And the thing about sharing your plans with people is that you really don't need their approval. You don't need their opinions. You don't need their advice. You don't really need their plans. Most of the times, the things that you're sharing with people or the things that you're wanting to do is not something that they have done. What you are doing, if it's coming from your heart, is not something that can be really replicated. It's very unique to you, and it's going to unfold uniquely in your case. So somebody may have advice about something. They may have a little bit of knowledge about something that they can maybe contribute. But essentially, you're going to go on this path alone, and you're going to find that out as you go on this path. You're not going to have all this help. It's really just going to be you. And if you accept a lot of help, if you go the path of having a lot of help, you're going to notice that it's not going to be very helpful to you. And at some point, you're going to have to let go of that help, and you're going to have to be on your own. And so what I've learned is to just go on your own from the very beginning, not let anybody know what you're doing, and just go ahead and start on your plans. Go ahead and start on your business. Go ahead and start on whatever you're moving out of, a toxic relationship, a toxic friendship, a toxic work environment. Whatever you're doing, make the moves yourself. You don't need to let anybody know. What you can do is go within and make that strategic move, knowing where all the pieces stand and where you're going to move. But you're not going to let someone know your move. Just like when you're playing chess, you're not going to let the opponent know what you're planning to do. You're going to just strategically move. And you're going to make that move, and a lot of times it'll shock the other opponent, right? They're like, whoa, like they can't believe that you made that move. And so that's when you quantum leap or quantum jump. What you'll find is in the time that you haven't told anybody, you have all of your energy. You don't have any leakages, because when you tell people what you're doing, you have to engage in the conversations of their advice, their permission, their opinions, their own plans of how it would work, their naysaying or whatever, or praise, whatever it happens to be. You're going to have to engage in that. And what happens is you actually get a bit of energy leakage, because anything that you allow for doubt or anything that you allow your energy to go into creates a leakage. And so where you could be working with all of your energy. So if you don't tell anybody what you're doing, then you're working with just yourself, your ideas, what you want, without the opinions or the input of anybody else. So you have more of a momentum going within yourself. You're developing self-trust. You're tuning into your higher being, which is your intuition, God's spirit within. And so you're working with a higher power. You're not working with man alone. You're working in tandem with God. And so you're in alignment, is what I call it. And when you're in alignment, you have way more, you're working with everything. You have all the life force working with you. So you move quicker, and by the time you share the news with someone, or by the time someone finds out what you're doing, you would have already won. You would have already become successful in what you're doing. So there wouldn't be any naysaying at that point. There wouldn't be any opinions at that point. You're just going to show up and pretty much shock everybody. And so that's quantum leaping in a way where you're working in silence, okay? So we think that things are magic and all this and that. It's not magic. It's just really that you're having self-trust. It's that you're going in alignment with yourself, with your intuition, and you're moving forward while everybody else is playing checkers. And before you know it, you've made some pretty big moves, and everyone else can see that. And if you do share with others what you're doing, you're going to find that there's going to be a lot of people that come against it, that will even try to sabotage your plans, that will even try to stop you. And so you kind of bypass all of that by not telling anybody and moving in silence. And so by the time that you get where you're going, like I say, you would have already won. Whereas if you were working with people that are jealous, envious, trying to self-sabotage or sabotage you, you're going to hinder that a little bit, and you may get discouraged, and you may even have rips in your relationship with people. And you may have to still keep going because it's in your heart. But eventually, when you do win, those people will eventually change their mind. You'll notice that those people that were so against something that you were doing, when they find out that you're now being successful in it, they suddenly turn around and they suddenly act like they were in support of it all along when they really weren't. So it's kind of like cutting out like all the fat out of meat or something like that. I'm saying like cut it out. Cut that whole piece out and just go ahead and quantum leap into the thing that you're wanting to do by just simply following your heart now and working in silence without having to seek anyone's validation, without having to seek anyone's approval, without having to ask anyone anything, just trusting in your own self and developing your own self-trust within. So that's what this message is about. I hope that it found you well. I hope that it resonated with you. If it did, give me a like down below. Comment how it resonated with you. You are going to be moving very rapidly if you do choose to work in silence, and it's another way of moving. And so from a while ago, I learned to move this way, and I always move this way. I move in silence. I don't let people know what I'm doing. I simply do whatever is in my heart without having to share with anybody. And when it becomes known, it is known. So you choose, you decide. You don't need anyone else's approval, validation, permission. You decide. So if you are new here and you like this kind of videos and you'd like to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I put out these daily videos. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, for your likes, for your shares, for your donations, for your emails, for everything. Thank you so much for being here. And if you'd like to connect further with me, you can find my links in the description of this video and the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all.